Well, as Bilbo Baggins once observed, someone else always has to carry the story. And the story in this particular case is one of the most epic, one of the most beloved, and one of the most enduring of the past century. J.R.R. Tolkien's famous tale of heroes, horrors, and hobbits is being celebrated at the Edmonton Public Library's Stanley Milner location as they embark December 4th upon an adventure known as Lord of the Rings Week. And I am so thrilled to say that I am joined right now by the EPL staffer who had this particular brainchild. We are joined by community librarian at the Milner, Victoria Reap. Victoria, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
What a treat. And so I've got to ask you, obviously, if this is, this whole Lord of the Rings business came from your imagination. Wonder, how did you first become a fan of these tales of Middle-earth?
I found Lord of the Rings fairly late in life. I had not seen any of the movies until about 2017. So I really missed the boat on when it was big. Yeah. And the first time I watched them, I will be honest, my thought was these movies are long. And they were. But the second time I watched them, we watched all of the extended features. And that's where I fell in love with it. Watching all of these people just put so much love into something and like hand embroidering clothes on the inside of the jacket where no one would see it just to make it feel real. Oh, that made me really fall in love with it.
Right. And it struck me too, like some people might think, all this, sword fighting business and libraries maybe on the surface of it seem like an odd fit, but it does occur to me that the library is kind of the perfect place for this sort of celebration. Can you comment on why the library feels like an appropriate home for Lord of the Rings Week?
Sure. Honestly, at the library, we are open to doing pretty much everything. We're open to, obviously, literacy and all of that fun stuff, but skill development and fun. So one of the things we don't always get to do is put on like really cool, fun classes for adults. So this was a great option to get people in and just enjoying something they love while connecting it back to stuff we have regularly at the library, like all of Tolkien's works.
For instance. Now, I did mention sword fighting. I'm not kidding. That's actually a component of Lord of the Rings Week. Can you tell us about some of the activities that people can deal in on when they join you at the Stanley Milner?
Yeah, so we have a really full week. A number of the activities are registered, so you'll have to pop in and see where you can fit in. But we do have a kitchen event on Monday where people will be making Beorn's honey cakes. We have a 3D printing class where you get to design and 3D print your own ring. We have a Make It at Milner event, which is a learn how to use the Cricut to cut out vinyl and then learn how to use the heat press and customize a little bag with your very own Lord of the Rings image.
Wow.
Of course, we have our sword fighting choreography event, which we're really excited about. And then over the weekend, we are marathoning the trilogy.
Look out.
So first two movies on Saturday, and we end it Sunday afternoon.
Whew. That is a serious way to bring it on home. My goodness. Well, on our way from setting out from the Shire to the King returning, there's going to be a whole ton of great stuff going on. And you mentioned you're particularly excited about the sword fighting workshop. I had the great opportunity of having a wee session with your colleague who is the coordinator who's going to be delivering that workshop. What is it about Janine that makes her just the perfect person for this event?
She's a library assistant at Stanley Milner, and she is a real fight choreographer. So it's really exciting to have somebody with all of that talent and knowledge coming into our space and lending us that. It's really beautiful. Bringing
all those worlds together. It's so incredible. And I got to be part of a staged fight sequence that Janine choreographed for myself and my illustrious CKUA colleague, Tony King. Here's a little bit of how that sword play sounded.
Action!
Aha! That was epic. You can see the full video, in fact, of Tony King's sword fight with yours truly if you go to CKUA's social media, as choreographed by Janine Waddell. That was so much fun. This whole thing, Victoria, is so much fun. Every single person I've spoken to about this, their eyes just light up. Like, it really grabs their imagination. And What do you think it is about these tales that keep people so incredibly invigorated and excited literally almost 70 years since the first book was published?
Oh boy, honestly, I think it encapsulates a lot of big human emotions. So taking it on yourself to do something that you know is right, but it's difficult. A lot of us feel quite strongly about stuff like that. We want to do the right thing, even if it's hard. We want to go on that big adventure to say that we've accomplished the thing. And I think Lord of the Rings brings that. I think it opens up that part of people where they see themselves as being able to be part of this big group that could be, as a whole, the hero, right? You get to be a part of that.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. This is such a tremendous privilege having an opportunity to chat with you. And I'm so excited for Lord of the Rings week starting December 4th.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about it too, and I hope we get lots of people coming through our doors looking to celebrate with us.
Absolutely, and some of them probably costumed in unusual ways, I'm guessing.
Please be costumed in unusual ways. I beg you to be costumed in unusual ways.
Find out all about this by going to epl.ca. She is Victoria Reap, the community librarian at the Stanley A. Milner Library in Edmonton. Lord of the Rings week kicks off December 4th. And Victoria, I drew something from our own library here at CKUA. I'm holding in my hands J.R.R. Tolkien, Poems and Songs of Middle-earth.
Oh my gosh.
In which J.R.R. himself reads some of his poetry, and there are musical treatments of them as well, sung by William Elvin. Would you like to listen to some of that right now?
Desperately.
From The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, as sung by William Elvin, and as written, of course, by J.R.R. Tolkien himself. From the album, The Road Goes Ever On.